Okay, welcome to my video evaluation of the 4 performances by real middle school and high school bands and orchestras for our instrumental methods class. I went through all 4 videos and this is what I came up with. Let's start in the order that the links were given to me by Dr. Schwartz. The first song I watched was Childhood Hymn, which was actually my song that I assessed in my last video. I think this performance of the 4 was the weakest. It was a middle school band, the Adeborup Middle School Band, that was recorded in 2015. The first thing I noticed as soon as they began to play was their intonation was way off. It was to the point where it made it hard for me to listen to anything else that I was supposed to be listening to in that video. Like I said, I think it was mostly from the French horns and trumpets, but like I said, it was kind of hard to tell because it was so far off. The rhythm also needs work, but I felt at least it was better than the intonation. As far as the phrasing goes, they stay together fairly well, but they still need work. You could tell they were on the same note at the same time, but other than that, it wasn't any closer. I did hear a couple squeaks coming from the clarinets. The balance and blend wasn't as bad as I could hear all the parts. The strengths of the group seemed to be in the flute section. Their intonation and rhythm was probably the best. And as an orchestra or as a band, they actually did start and end pretty well together. I was impressed with that. Bottom line with this one is I would say definitely fix the intonation and rhythm. And on an up point, I like the way that their stage setup was worked out with the black backdrop. I thought it was very professional looking. I know at a lot of my son's orchestras, you can actually see into the backstage area and see old broken music stands and instruments that need repair while you're watching the concert. So I think they did a good job with that. Moving along, let's see. The next song that I watched was a performance by the Blue Valley Northwest High School Orchestra of A Quiet Music. Out of the 4 videos, I think this performance came in number 1. The accuracy in rhythm is very good. The phrasing and musicality, I would even say it is excellent. The strength of the group is the background parts. The basses, the cellos, and violas work really well together. They lay down a great foundation for the melody, which is mainly in the violins. That's where I found a little bit of an issue. The violins, at least violin 1s, are not intonated as well as they could be. Especially if you check out the recording at 1 minute and 28 seconds, it's a little bit more obvious. I'm losing my camera here. Let's see. From there, the professional setup is very good. I like that as well. They have a very nice stage. It looks like they put a fair amount of money into their music program. And overall, like I said, this was definitely the best recording that I listened to. Other than the main violins being a little bit out of tune, I thought it was an excellent recording. And it was definitely something that I would want to represent me as a music teacher if I could post it on YouTube. Then from there, I listened to I believe the same, do we have the same orchestra here? Yes, once again, the third selection was from Blue Valley Northwest High School also. This was the band playing Green Willow Portrait. I think this recording came in number 2 out of the 4 recordings. The tone and intonation could be better. It wasn't terrible, but you could tell that it was off, especially when the lead trumpet or trumpet section plays right at the beginning of the piece. And I think the oboe, whatever comes in at about 1 minute and 40 seconds, is a little bit off. The rhythm needs work. Their accuracy isn't completely together, but once again, it's not terrible. It's just something that needs work. For phrasing and musicality, I thought it was pretty good. Everyone was mostly together. The balance was once again pretty good as well. Personally, I thought the percussion section was the strongest part of the performance, and I would like to hear a little bit more of them in the mix. They could even stand out a little bit more. The main problem that I had with this performance is what I hear in a lot of performances, and I'm not always even sure how to put it into words, but it seemed dull, maybe a little boring, like the people weren't all that excited to be playing the piece. I don't think that's any one issue that needs to be addressed, other than we just need to wake up and play the piece a little bit better. But like I said, I think it was overall it was a good attempt. It wasn't the best recording that I've heard, but it was definitely something that showed that they'd spent time rehearsing and they had accomplished quite a bit. Then, let's see, the last recording that I listened to was the Red Balloon by the Whitcomb Middle School Concert Band. I would put them in number 3. Once again, their intonation is off. I think the flutes are out of tune right from the beginning of the piece. The rhythm needs work. The phrasing is pretty good. It's close enough where they stay together. For musicality, once again, I thought the percussion section did a pretty good job. The balance and blend was good, as I could hear every part. It may not have been like exactly the way that I'd like to hear it, but it was good enough to at least evaluate who was playing what. The strengths of the group, once again, I think the percussion and the aspects that this ensemble could work on was intonation and rhythm. Once again, and I don't think I said this for the last video either. The stage setups all looked professional to me. I thought that they did a good job. So to kind of summarize everything overall, I found the weakest link in every ensemble to be intonation. The second weakest link is rhythm and timing. So the lesson that I've learned is that if you can get your band and or orchestra in tune and in time, you'll improve at least 100% just from doing those two things. That seems to be what's like the common weak link between all of them. And my surprise was actually all of their stage setups and their images. They were all dressed nice. They were set up in a way where your focus was on the orchestras or the bands. It wasn't distracting. I think the acoustics were good in the rooms that they played, and even the videos that they made, the recordings came out fairly well. So that's my evaluation of those 4 performances. Thank you so much.